Tripping. Tripping with Theo Bowl.
Come on, Dre.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Tripping with Theo Bold. I'm your host, Andre Theo Bold. Welcome to the show. Glad y'all could tune in. AT is where it's at on most forms of social media, so make sure you follow me. Boom. Yeah, man. Let me just make sure my audio is working. Hey, sorry I'm a little late. Is what it is, you know. I'm a one-man show over here, but we getting better. And that's all that life is about. It's about improving little by little. Let me just make sure my audio is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Let me just make sure my voice is working the way I want it to work, so y'all can hear me. Cause my biggest fear is like being in the pocket and talking my shit and being in my groove, and then like the audio sound like some bullshit. That happened a few times. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, man, one time, man, I was struggle streaming, man. I was struggling, man, but I was in the pocket, man. I was on one, man. I probably dropped some gems. And my shit sound like a goddamn Decepticon, and that shit sound terrible, man. But anyways, let me go ahead and pull up my chat, make sure I can see who's trying to check in on little old me, and then we gonna get on with today's topic. All right, so boom, here we go. Let me shift some things around. Like I said, we getting better day by day, slowly but surely. We getting better. That's all that life is about. That's all you can do in life is get better day by day. So today we talking about it's gonna be a doozy of a topic, man. We talking about if you saw like my title and what I was talking about, or if you see the title of this, it's about being disciplined as a kid. It's about being disciplined. So this episode stems from the latest Michael Jackson movie. The latest Michael Jackson movie, or it's called Michael. And I remember I was in the theater. I saw like a screening of it, and it was funny, man. Was on that scene when Michael got a whooping. It's like everybody was so foreign to that concept, man. Like all the millennials, man. Now I sound like an old nigga, Like back in my day, man, we used to get our ass whooped, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, just the way they reacted to that scene, they were like, "Oh my God, that's horrible. Oh my God, that's abuse." And I'm sitting to myself thinking, nigga, that little whooping they had in that movie was a warm-up, nigga. Like, nigga, that wasn't shit. So I said, let me go ahead and chime in on the matter. You know what I'm saying? But now, in my household, right, so in case y'all don't know, I'm half FBA, half Trini. All right. So what is FBA? That's Foundational Black American. My mom's side of the family, can trace their ancestry back to antebellum slavery. My grandma's from Georgia originally, came from a family of sharecroppers, and she migrated to Niagara Falls. My mom is from Niagara Falls, New York, not Canada for all you, social studies deficient motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? But no, my mom is from Niagara Falls, New York, and my dad is from Trinidad. He immigrated from Trinidad, like in back in the '60s or whatever, and then went to medical school at University of Buffalo, and that's where he met my mom, and that's how I came to be. That's why I'm a Bills fan. Go Bills. But anyways, so in my house, so the reason I bring this up is because in my household, man, I got two distinct types of ass whoopings, right? I got two distinct disciplines, or physical disciplines, if you want to call it that. Right? I got a FBA ass whooping, traditional FBA ass whooping, and I got Oh, fuck that. I got traditional FBA ass whoopings, and then I got Caribbean slap up. All right, that's what they call it. They call it slap up. And I got lots of slap, and like, slap up is like, yeah, it's exactly what it is, right? But I got many of those too. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna just go through and have some fun talking about my child rearing, or me getting reared as a child, if that's how you say it, right? So here we go, man. So uh I'm gonna start with the FBA ass whoopings, right? Because like the major difference between an FBA ass whooping and a Caribbean slap up is an FBA ass whooping comes with instructions, right? Like the shit's gonna happen. Like the shit is going down, right? Where a Caribbean slap up, nigga, that shit is an ambush, man. Like you don't see that shit coming. It comes out of nowhere, you know? Um, and then yeah, there's no remorse for a Caribbean slap up, where there may or may not be remorse for an FBA ass whooping. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let me start with my mom, man. So uh like the first ass whooping I got from my mom, I was probably like in first grade, right? It was in first grade, and I went to a Montessori school, you know. And I remember, me and some friends in my class, we discovered the words pee pee and poo poo. We thought that was the funniest shit ever, nigga. We was pee pee and poo poo, like we was like we didn't do the shit, but we were saying it because the words sounded funny, Um, right, the word sounded hilarious to us, man. So we were, man, just shouting pee pee and poo poo like all throughout the day. Make sure had to get some tea in my system, man. Anyways, that's not the end of the story, by the way. But now, man, man, we was having a good old time, just shouting out pee pee and poo poo and laughing and kikiing. Teacher told us to stop. We kept doing it. Then, we kept doing it every day, right? Next day, teacher got tired of hearing it. So she gave me a note to go home, to take home to my mom. I took a note home. My mom saw it and was like, this is stupid. Like pee pee and poo poo are not bad words. I mean, that's what you do. But my mom was like, okay, look, they don't want you using the words, or they don't want you like playing around with that language. So just cut it out. My mom tried to sit me down. She tried to reason with me. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And I didn't pay that shit no mind. Because the next day, man, we was having a pee pee poo poo party. Not like pee pee and poo poo, but we was like just saying the words, having a good old time. Laughing and just kikiing. Got another note, right? Got another note, and then took the note home. And my mom saw that I wasn't getting the message to stop, So my mom was like, all right, Andre, go to your room and get down to your underwear. So I'm like, what is this? I didn't know what was going on. So I just followed instructions. And then I don't know how, to this day, I don't know how I ended up across her lap, but I ended up across my mom's lap, and I had my drawers on, and then she had this little leather, this little leather Superman belt that I had. It was thick. It was like a little Superman belt. And she had me across her lap, and she peeled my underwear back, man, and was Kaya. And she was one of them, how many times do I have to tell you not to? Right? Yeah, I was crying. That shit hurt, but it was like, it was like my mom was that tight. Like she would start off making sense when she was talking, but then it turned into right. So I remember that. So I remember that shit hurt, and I went to school the next day. Still ain't learned my lesson, nigga. Where I tried to keep pee pee and poo poo on the low, right? I was trying to like be slick with it. I was like pee pee poo poo, pee poo poo, pee pee poo poo. Man, teacher caught me, and I don't think like it was like me and some like white boys, man. And I don't think they got a note. because they were saying the same shit too. They were doing the same shit. But then I got another note. I took it home to my mom, and I remember she went to get the mail. Oh no, I think she told me to get the mail. I forgot how the shit worked, but I ended up putting the letter. No, I actually gave it to her, and I made up some lie about what the letter was about. And my mom was just like, "Mm-hmm, okay, mm-hmm, okay." And I remember, you know what's weird? I'm not even like, I'm just really trying to remember this shit. But I think, and I'm young. I think I'm in the first grade. I'm like, how do I even know this shit? But I had this letter in an envelope from the teacher to give my mom. And I remember being outside on the porch, walking up to the door with my mom, and she got the mail, and I was like, "Oh yeah, mom, I have a letter for you." Um, I was like, "Yeah, it's from UCLA." I was trying to be funny, but I was trying to also like make it seem like it wasn't a big deal. My mom got that letter and said, "Okay." And then she would sit at the kitchen table in the kitchen, and she went through the mail. And then what she did is she put that letter on the bottom, but she knew what it was. It was funny. She had my letter on top, and then when she sat down to look at the mail, she already knew what it was. She didn't even open it up. She had said, "Andre, go to your room, get down to your underwear." And then she put the letter on the bottom of the mail while she went through the mail. So I'm sitting there in the room in my underwear, waiting for my mom to go through this mail, and came in. I still to this day, I do not know how I ended up across her lap, you know, cause like I said, I had my underwear on, and she had me the old school fashion way. Like I was laid across my mom's lap, um, and I had my underwear on, and then, you know, she just peel my underwear back with the belt. How many times do I have to tell you not to? So I was like, shit, let me cut this pee pee poo poo shit out, right? So, yeah, I cut it out after that. So then that's the second time my mom whooped my ass. Then, you know what's funny? I only got 4 whoopings from my mom in my life, so those were 2. Then, and I had some close calls, but I got 4 distinct ass whoopings from my mom, FBA ass whoopings. Um, then my third whooping from my mom, um, was what happened, man. Oh, nigga, I got whooped over a Bobby McFerrin tape. If you don't know who Bobby McFerrin is, that's a nigga that's saying, "Don't worry, be happy." You know what I'm saying? And that was like my favorite album back in the day when I was in first grade. I was in second grade at this time. All right. If you don't remember the album, this is the album right here. All right. Old school album, man. Like, matter of fact, we had the cassette tape, right? And that was like that to me was like the coolest shit ever, man, hearing that music as a kid. Because if you don't know who Bobby McFerrin is, Bobby McFerrin is a musician that makes music with no instruments. Like he uses his body as an instrument. You know what I'm saying? So what the exception was, don't worry, be happy was like his major like hit, right? That was like the major hit. And I can hear the song, but it's like weird. I'm not sure if he just used his if that was like all acapella or like no musical instruments, but he would like slap his throat and make all these sounds and make all these noises, but it was all rhythmically done. And it was dope, man. It was like the coolest shit ever to me. Um like and I remember in class we had show and tell, right? So in my mind, so in my mind, for show and tell, I was gonna bring in Bobby McFerrin. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, when I put this on, um, you know, the class is gonna like this song. So they're gonna like the album so much that we gonna have like a Bobby McFerrin listening party, right? Like I'm thinking they just gonna keep playing. I'm thinking we just gonna forget that we're doing show and tell. And I'm just thinking, okay, you know, we're just gonna listen to the whole Bobby McFerrin, tape or the whole album, right? Because I thought the music was that cool, you know. So I'm in show and tell in second grade, and it's Friday, and I bring the tape in, and I put on the first song, and after 15 seconds, the teacher goes, "Okay, Andre, that's good. Yay, everyone give it for Andre. Cut it off now." And I'm thinking to myself, what? Cut this off, nigga. We just getting started. I'm like, no. We can play. She's like, Andre, that's enough. Thank you. So I was like, nah, y'all gonna get this Bobby McFerrin, nigga. Fuck this. Y'all gonna get this Bobby McFerrin in y'all system, man. You know? So the next week, for show and tell on Friday, I brought the tape again. You know? And that's really what I got whooped for, right? I got whooped for being defiant by my mom. My mom whooped me because I was not so much for lying, but I got whooped for being defiant. So um next week, like I said, I brought the tape in. Like I didn't get a whooping at this time. I just brought the tape in again for show and tell. And I went to song 2, and I made sure I queued it up to song 2. And she's like, Andre, what do you have? I got Bobby McFerrin. And she was like, Andre, no. I'm like, nah, but I mean, y'all didn't hear this shit last week, so we gotta hear it this time. So I think she let me play it for like, but this time I only played it for like, I think she only let me play it for like 10 seconds. And then she said, okay, very good, Andre, yay. And I'm like, man, we didn't get to my song though, because my song was All I Want, right? Like really all of his songs were dope on that album to me. But he had that all I want, all I need is you. Like that was my shit. But we didn't get to that song, so she made me cut the tape off after 10 seconds. And you know, she was like, Andre, I don't want to see this tape again. Right? You got to bring something else in for show and tell. So I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. So I didn't say it like that. I was like, okay. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. Nigga, 3rd week in a row. Show and tell. I come with the Bobby McFerrin tape. She's like, no, Andre, no. And then she wrote a note, and I had to give it to my mom. Now at this point, it didn't register to me that if I get a note home, I'm probably gonna get a whooping. Right? Like that didn't really register. So nigga, I took the note home, and my mom saw it, and um I don't know how. Again, I was across my mom's lap. You know what I'm saying? I was like my mom. I was in my underwear across my mom's lap, and she peeled my underwear back. How many times do I have to tell? All right. I was like, fuck. Okay, no more Bobby McFerrin. Bobby McFerrin done. All right. Can't bring Bobby McFerrin to school no more, man. So after that, man, the my final whooping from my mom, it's weird. I think like it wasn't I wasn't because I went to Montessori school from like kindergarten through 3rd grade, and then I went to Sligo middle school from like 4th to 8th grade. So I'm not sure. This probably was like circa, you know, 4th grade, but I don't think it was 5th grade. It wasn't that late. It was probably 4th grade. Maybe it could have been 3rd grade. I don't know. But anyways, 4th and final whooping from my mom was over a Ninja Turtle book, nigga. I got my ass whooped over a Ninja Turtle book, nigga. A Ninja Turtle book, man. Yo, but Ninja Turtles got my ass whooped back in the day, man. I used to get. That's probably why I don't really like that's probably why I don't like the Turtles that much, man. Because like I associate that shit with getting whoopings, and you'll see in a like coming up. But man, what happened, man? So my mom, yeah, we were in Laurel Center Mall one day, and they had this store in Laurel Mall. I think it was called Crown Books. It's called Crown Bookstore in Laurel Mall. It was on the upper deck or the upper level, and this is old school Laurel Mall, you know. Um, and man, I saw this Ninja Turtle book on the shelf, and the cover looked like it was gonna be a fun like comic book or a picture book. You know what I'm saying? Like it just like the cover of the book looked so enticing. And I was begging my mom. I was like, "Yo, mom, can I get that book? Can I get that Ninja Turtle book?" And she's like, "Nah, nigga, nah." And I kept begging mom. I was like, "Mom, please, please, can I get this turtle book? Please, can I get this Ninja Turtle book? Please." And I kept begging. And my mom said, "How much is the book?" And then she saw then The cashier told her the price. She said, "Can you get that book for my son, please?" And my mom looked at me. She said, "Look, nigga, I'm gonna get this book and you gonna read it." I was like, "All right, yeah, bet. Nigga, I got the book, man. Open that shit up. No pictures." I'm like, nigga, what? I'm like, nigga, what are all these words doing in this book? I'm like, it's all these fucking words in this book. Where, like, I'm like, what are all these words in this fucking book? Man, I'm turning the book upside down, like, hoping that I find a magical picture in that bitch, man. That book was like 100 and something pages, and it had like one sketch on half a page, and it was Donatello like riding a jet ski or some shit, you know. So when I got this book, I'm like, I thought to myself, man, I ain't reading this shit. Like this, like I got the book for pictures and shit. I'm trying to, like, I thought it was a picture book. You know what I'm saying? Or I thought it was gonna be more pictures than that. You know. So man, I got that book. Man, I ain't touched that book for like, I didn't touch that book after. Like, as soon as that book got home, that book was like just in the fucking trash pile, nigga. I wasn't reading that shit. So I remember, yeah, we were at breakfast. Me and my mom and dad at breakfast, and I'm at the table and shit. We laughing and kikiing and shit. And I'm kikiing and laughing with him and shit. And then in the middle of a kiki and laughing and shit, my mom was like, "Where you at with your book, nigga?" I was kikiing. "Where you at with your book, nigga?" And I said, "Huh?" She said, "Yeah, nigga, don't hum me. Where you at with your book?" I'm like, yeah. I'm like halfway done. She's like, "Go get the book." And I was like, "All right." And I'm thinking to myself, "Oh shit, I gotta go get this book, man. I ain't even touched this motherfucker since we got the book." And man, like, I was trying to, like, so it took me a while to get the book because I was trying to read some of the shit before I got to the kitchen. And I went back to that jet ski picture with I went back to that sketch of Donatello on the jet ski. And my mom read, I think she read the book for like 5 minutes. And she was asking me basic questions. And I was just making all that shit up, you know? And we got to the third question. My mom was like, "Nigga, you ain't read this book." I'm like, "Yeah, I did. I mean, you gotta get to the part with the jet ski because, you know, Donatello's on the jet ski and, you know, that's where they ran into the shredder." And she said, "Nigga, you did not read this book." She said, "I'm gonna tell you one more time. All right. You got a week to finish this book." And that's all she said. And I was like, "All right, cool." Right. I was like, "Okay, fuck, I'm gonna read this book." Nigga, I took the book. Still didn't touch the book, right? So a week goes, so like a whole week goes by, and I'm playing next door at the Curry's house, right? We had these neighbors, the Currys. It was Mrs. Curry, and then it was Danny and Damon, right? Yeah, it was me, Danny, and Damon, and I was in there. I remember playing on like Sunday afternoon in their house or whatever, and I got done playing, and I came home, and it's like Sunday night, right? And my mom was like, "Yeah, where you at with your book?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was gonna start it this week. My bad. I'm a little behind." And she said, "Okay, nah. I'm gonna tell you what." She said, "Get in your room and get down to your underwear, and I want you to sit on the floor and wait for me." So I'm like, "The fuck is this?" So it was weird. Like, I don't remember even like trying to beg my way out of the ass whooping because I just thought that, you know, I don't know what it was. Like, I wasn't that bright of a kid, but I just thought that, okay, get down to your underwear. Like, that might just be a scare tactic, you know, or maybe, you know, she might not follow through with it. But nigga, when I got a note sent home or when I was told to get down to my underwear, nigga, that was time. That meant I was getting the ass whooping. Man, I got down to my little I got down to my tidy whitey underwear. I'm sitting on the floor cross-legged. And my mom come in the room and I remember the belt. It was this white belt. And it was this white belt with like the real thin, it was like the thinly woven, like it made, like, you know how it makes kind of, it's like a flat braid kind of, but it's like maybe like three smaller little strands. But um it was a solid belt. It wasn't like loose like whips and shit, but it was like a belt that was like three three skinnier leather pieces that got woven into like a flat braid belt, right? And I don't even remember what my mom said, but I remember she would start like she was kind of like talking and her voice would just get louder. And with the belt, like she didn't like have it with the loop and she was hitting me. Like she had the joint where she had it by one end and she was tired, tired. And I'm on the floor rolling. I'm like, nigga, shit. My mom was, how many times do I have to? All right. Yeah. So, and my spankings probably last like no more than like 15 seconds, if that, but they were intense, like no bruises, like, you know what I'm saying? No injuries, none of that shit. But it was like, nigga, it was like intense. Like, I think a lot of it was like on a scale of 1 to 10, like the pain was probably like an 8, right? But it wasn't like the pain or that discomfort of the belt. It was seeing my mom like transform and like just lose control and then just see her get angry. Like that shit, when you add that together with the whip, I mean with getting spanked or whatever, um, like that shit just made it like, all right, let me cut this shit out because this is different. Cause I think some people in life get them calm ass whoopings where people don't really, where the person whooping them don't get mad. They just like whooping them or whatever. And they know, okay, stop. I think it's the combination of the yelling and then like, the actual physical like contact of the belt. You know what I'm saying? So those were the whoopings I got from my mom, right? And I had some close calls later. But like I said before, foundational Black American ass whoopings came with instructions. And then, oh yeah, from after I got whooped from that or whatever, my mom called me in her room and then she's up here about to cry and shit. She was like, now you know that hurt me more than I'm like, man, you don't shut your ass up. What the fuck you mean that shit hurt you more than me? I'm the one that had to fucking take the belt, you know? So I remember just like thinking like, man, this is crazy. Like I didn't talk back, but in my mind, I'm like, man, this shit crazy. How you gonna sit up here and be sad about whooping me and I got the belt? You know what I'm saying? So, um, but the funny thing is after that, nigga, I still didn't read that book. So the whooping wasn't about like the book per se. It was more about just the fact that one, I begged my mom for something. She told me if I get it, you gonna read it. And when I saw what it was and I didn't want to read it, it was like it was the defiance, right? It was just the fact that I wasn't gonna read it, right? So that's what I got whooped for, right? But after that, it was like, I was careful what I asked for, you know. But yeah, I don't remember reading that book after getting whooped, yo. Like it was like that was it. It's like once I experienced that, it was like, I, that's I guess fear in and of itself, right? So those were the 4 times that I got whooped by my mom. Now my dad, on the other hand, like I said, dad's from the Caribbean, and my dad gave me slap ups, or it was just called slap up, you know. And you didn't know when them shits was coming. There was no announcement. There was no instructions. It was just chaos, man. So, um, real quick, AT is where it's at on most forms of social media. Make sure you follow me. Nah, man, but man, um, yeah. So the first time I remember getting slap up from my pop was when I could have my facts mixed up because I was so young. But I remember coming from Chuck E. Cheese, and I had this. I don't know why I'm thinking about Chuck E. Cheese, but maybe I came from Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know. It may have been my birthday because I was young. I was probably like 2, 3 years old, maybe. Um, and I remember I had this blue boat. I had like this light skin. I said light skin. I had this light blue battery powered boat that when you put it in the water, it would like it was like a pretty and it was like an intense boat. It wasn't like some like kitty little boat. It was a boat that had details on it, and I remember it was like it was like something I don't remember too much, but I remember the boat being like blue or like a light blue, you know. And I remember like we had some like company over. I think it may have been relatives. I can't remember, but I remember I think it was time for me to get my bath or something like that, or something like that, or I had to use the bathroom or something. I can't remember what. No, it was time to get a bath, I think, or whatever. Because I was too little. I mean, when you're young, you don't take showers, you take baths and shit. And I remember my dad was like telling me to go take a shower, and I don't know where I saw this at, but the concept of mooning somebody to me was funny, right? Like you remember how Bart Simpson back in the day would moon people and shit. So I remember he told me to do something or something like that, and I mooned my pop, and he just ran up off the couch, man, and snatched me up by my ankles, and I just remember getting pop, 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 pop. And then it was like serious, and I was like, what was that? And it was weird because it hurt, you know what I'm saying? But it was like it happened so fast, I didn't know what the fuck happened, you know. So I knew not to do that shit again. Then trying to think what's the next slap up. Okay, then the next time, this wasn't a slap up, but this was, man, my dad, man, he could pluck, man. My dad, I remember one time, man, he plucked the shit out of me, man. I think I was about 2, 3 years old, and you know, like my pop, like I was taking a bath, and my pop was like washing my hair and shit. Like he was on the outside of the tub and shit. You know what I'm saying? Cause I was like, when you young, you know what I'm saying, you wash your kid in the tub and shit. So my dad was and my mom wasn't home, I don't think, but he was washing my hair or whatever. And he had this I remember we had this yellow Johnson and Johnson shampoo, you know, and I think he just got off work or some shit. So he still got on like his work clothes and shit, like, you know, um, and like he's like washing my hair or whatever. And the Johnson and Johnson soap is getting in my eyes, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like pushing his hand away because I'm getting the soap in my eyes, and you know, and back then, like, you know what I'm saying, back then, like my head was like small or like smaller, right? And my dad had big fingers and shit. So he's like washing my face. He's like washing my hair, but nigga fingers is in my eyes and shit. I'm getting Johnson and Johnson soap in my eye. And I'm trying to push my dad's hand away. And my dad, like, I don't know, he just he plucked the shit out of me. All I remember was my dad going like this. Man, my head sounded like a fucking coconut, nigga. Like I heard the echo, like when he plucked me, like when he plucked my head, nigga, like that echo, that pop noise, it like echoed throughout my whole body. It was, and I was like, man, let me go and cut this shit out, man, because you know what I'm saying, because I don't want to get plucked again. So really, it was like, do you want to get soap in your eyes, or do you want to get plucked, nigga? And I'm like, nah, let me go ahead and I was like, man, let me go ahead and take this Johnson and Johnson in my eyes right quick, man. So that's why my eyes probably are so red to this day, man, because you know, I got all that shampoo in my eyes and shit. But that was like, yeah, when I was young and I used to have to get bathed by my parents or whatever. That pluck, nigga, I remember that shit like it was yesterday. Now here's where um the slap up shit started, man. Like the real slap up. So I think I was in second grade, right? And you know what's funny? I never got whooped when both parents were in the house. Like when my mom was at home, I got whooped. Or if I got a whooping, only one parent was in the house, right? So my dad, I remember. So in the morning, I used to like to watch cartoons. You know, like I was a big cartoon head. I was a cartoon junkie. So I think I was in second grade, and I used to get up early, man. Like every day, get my cereal, and I sit in front of the TV, and in the morning on the weekdays were like the rerun cartoons, right? So I would watch like GoBots. I remember Thundercats being on. Like you might catch Ninja Turtles like early. I mean, it was like I really remember like the earlier were the like the cartoons that weren't really that popular, right? Like GoBots, right? So I remember watching GoBots and really Thundercats in the morning. You know, I mean Thundercats was a popular cartoon, but I mean those were the ones I remember getting up and watching. And I remember my mom left for work early in the morning, and it's like dark outside. You know, so I'm eating my cereal. It's cold outside. It's winter, and we still have to go play outside at recess. So, um, what I have? Yeah. So I remember like specific like I remember I wore I had like these little burgundy corduroy pants. I remember this shit, right? And my mom used to make me wear long johns to go to school so I could keep warm. Um, and I'm eating breakfast and I'm watching my cartoons. My dad was getting ready, and he asked me, he was like, Andre, like, do you have your long johns on? And I was like, yeah, uh-huh. And I kind of like, yeah, uh-huh him. And I'm still watching my cartoons and shit. And I didn't have a belt on. So when I was sitting on the floor, like cross-legged, and I'm dressed ready to go to school, watching cartoons, like how like the back of your pants can like make that little dip or whatever. You can kind of like look down and see. So all I remember, man, is I'm watching cartoons and my dad snuck up behind me and he looked down my pants in the back to see if I had my long johns on, and he saw the Superman underwear, and he just started shouting. He said, "You lying son of a bitch!" And nigga, I was catching hands, nigga, while watching cartoons and shit, nigga, smacking the shit out of me. I'm rolling on the floor, crying and shit. And my mom was at work, and my dad used to like he used to like shout random shit while he was like like giving me slap up. And man, he would fuck up the cartoon names and shit. Like he fuck up my cartoons and shit. Like he say the wrong shit. He be smacking me up. I be yelling like, "Mama, mama." He be like, "Your mama ain't here. Who you gonna call? Thundercat." I'm like, nigga. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, nigga, that's not how that song go, nigga. That's not Thundercats, nigga. That's what the fuck. And in my mind, I thought I could like go in my room and put my long johns on real quick before it was time to go. But my dad snuck up behind me, man, and that's where I got the first like slap up, you know? Nigga, that's oh, my dad be shouting and shit. Oh man, that was hilarious, man. So I learned my lesson from that shit. Just make sure, when you get at like really it was like don't just yeah, uh-huh, your parents. Like make sure you take direction and make sure you follow their instruction and shit. So this is the funny part, man. So um I'm doing this for my mom. 'Cause my mom, it was funny, right? I'm doing this for my mom because when so when I was so when my dad passed away, we had like he had my old desk downstairs, right? So um like my folks ain't work out, right? So basically what happened was when I was younger, my bedroom was next to their room, and then my mom and dad shared a room, and then my dad's room was the computer room because that's where his clothes and stuff were in that closet. And my mom took up the whole big closet in her room. And my grandma and my grandpa or my grandma or my grandpa, when they came to visit, they would stay downstairs in the back room, right? And to me, that downstairs back room was scary as shit. I ain't like being downstairs. But then as I got older, right, and as my grandma got older, my grandma, I think when I was so when I graduated high school, that's when my grandma came to visit, she would stay in my room. That became her room. And then I was yeah, then in college I was downstairs in the back room, because they made me stay in the back room and shit. Um and um then when my mom and dad didn't work out, um like we moved my dad's stuff downstairs, so my dad took over my room in the back downstairs, and when I came home to visit in college, I had the couch downstairs, right? So I remember my mom I remember the day we moved my dad downstairs. My mom was like, Andre, go get one of your little friends, call Eric up and see if he can help you move some of the furniture downstairs. I was like, all right. So I just thought that, shit, like parents, when they get older, like they just want their own space. And, you know, I thought my dad was like, I thought he was like snoring too loud, because there'd be a few times I come home, he'd be on the couch in the front room. Like I come in from like a club or a party in college, and like he'd be on the couch. And I'm like, Dad, how come you on the couch? He'd be like, oh, your mama say I snore too loud. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm thinking, okay, my dad's like snoring too loud, and she wants her space upstairs and my dad wants his space downstairs. So I didn't think anything of it. But nigga, he had my old desk, right? So when we were breaking down like my old desk or my dad's desk from the back room to put outside, because we had to basically get rid of all the stuff in that back room after he passed. My mom was like, Andre, you remember this desk? I was like, oh yeah, I remember this desk. I was like, I got slapped up many times over this desk. She said, by who? I was like, nigga, my dad. Nigga, shit. What the fuck you think? So evidently my mom didn't know I was getting smacked up when she wasn't there. But nigga, first, these were like the major slap ups, man. So I can't remember if I was in Julia Brown or fourth grade. It was like around third, fourth grade, man. I remember I couldn't do long division for shit. Like I just didn't get it, And I remember, man, my dad was trying to show me how to do long division in the morning, before I went to school. It was like some homework or something I had to do. My mom's already at work. And nigga, right? So my mom's already at work. And my dad's like showing me long division, and I'm like, I'm not interested in like learning about this shit. I'm not even trying to learn this shit. You know what I'm saying? So my dad was showing me, and when West Indians like do math, it's a lot of they be just it's like every other word is you understand? You understand? Tree upon tree is one. Tree by one is tree. Tree by tree is nine. You understand? Nine upon tree is tree. Tree by this, you understand? Then you twist it, you understand? Right? So that's how my dad was doing that shit. And I remember, man, I had my Ninja Turtles on the desk. I had like two of them on my desk. I had, I think I had Michelangelo and like Donatello, or I forgot. I had two Ninja. I forgot, but I know I had Michelangelo on my desk. I had Michelangelo, and I had like another one on my desk, right? And back in the day, those Ninja Turtles, like they had the mean mug face, like they had that mean mug turtle faces. You know what I'm saying? And I remember Michelangelo, when my dad was teaching me this long division, nigga, my dad, he was showing me this shit. Man, nigga, Michelangelo was like, he was like, man, fuck this long division shit, man. Come play with us. So I started playing with my fucking turtles and shit. And my dad is thing upon tree is tree, a tree by tree is nine, you understand? Nine upon tree is tree, a tree upon tree is one, you understand? And I'm like playing with my fucking turtles. And I'm just playing with the shit, nigga, playing with my fucking Ninja Turtles while my dad is teaching me long division. And all I heard, nigga, all I heard was stupid, 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 stupid. I'm catching bombs, nigga. Man, he smacked my fucking turtles out my hand, nigga. Fucking Michelangelo went from looking like this to Michelangelo was looking shocked. Nigga, he was just it was just raining hands, nigga. And my dad was real good. Like he was real accurate, man. Like he would like mix it up. He would come in from the long range, then come in from the short range. But like I said, he was real accurate, man. He would get me on the side of the face, back of the head, but he never touched my face, which was crazy, man, because he be swinging, nigga. He be swinging, man, and I be just catching them joints, man. I'd be like, man, I remember thinking, man, fuck this long division, nigga. I need to figure these hands out, nigga. Like fuck trying to figure out long division. I need to figure out these fucking hands. Nigga, I'm catching hands, nigga, just fucking raining hands, nigga. And I remember back then I had a flat top haircut and shit. Nigga smacked my shit into a Gumby. Eyes were red, nigga. I'm crying and shit. Nigga, I went to school looking like Shabba Ranks, nigga. So that was the first like major slap up, man. Then the next one, so after that, I was like, okay, cool, education. I gotta take this shit serious, nigga. I'm not trying to get slap up, you know. Yeah, I'm not trying to get no more slap up, you know. But nigga, next time it was over math again, but I forgot. It was maybe like pre-algebra or some shit. Was it pre-algebra? It was like basic problem solving shit, right? And I remember my mom, she had to work nights this night. She had to work nights. And it was Monday night because I remember Monday Night Football was on. And I think the Rams were playing someone. So it was the LA Rams. So this is how long ago it was, right? It was the LA Rams and somebody. I forgot who they were playing. I got to look that game up to see because I can remember, like when I see like the game, I can remember some of the shit from the game. Isn't that crazy? We can like we relate everything to sports games that, you know. Anyways, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent, but man, I remember it was at nighttime and I think I asked my dad for, no, I think I think he came in and was like, hey, so you need help with your math homework? And I was like, yeah, and that was the first mistake. That was the first mistake. When I should have been like, nah, I'm cool, I got it. But I was like, yeah, I'm trying to understand this and I can't figure this out. And you know, then he started doing this whole thing upon thing is tree by tree is one. You understand? 9 upon tree is tree. You take it, you twist it. You understand? Like he started doing that shit again. And when he was doing it, right, like his hands were getting away, so I couldn't see what he was even doing, right? So he's writing, and I'm doing this shit trying to understand. I'm trying to look to see what he's doing, and you can't even see because he writing and his hands covering the shit up, you know. So when he got done, he threw the pencil down. Okay, you try, you know. And then he'd be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna come back and I'll come check on you or whatever, right? So I'm sitting there like, fuck, man, what the fuck did he do here, right? And he'd do the shit, and then he wouldn't get the same answer that the teacher got, right? He get a whole different answer than the teacher, right? So I'm like, this shit don't match what the teacher got. How the fuck? Same problem. How did he? So I go back to my dad. He's watching the game, and my mom, like he's watching the game in my mom and dad room, right? Or because they both were in the same room at the time, but my mom was at work. He's watching the game, and I go in the room. And I'm like, Dad, yeah, man, there's something that you didn't do. I'm trying to get this. I don't understand this thing right quick. Can you come back and show me again? And then he came back and did it again. You know, did this whole thing upon thing is tree by tree is 9. You understand? He kept doing that shit again, and he's tinging and twisting and doing all this shit. And I'm just like, man, I don't. So I'm looking at it. Then when he got done, I was like, yeah, Dad, but that's not what the teacher got. He said because yeah, he said yeah, because he said yeah, because that's what I can't. I was like, Dad, that's not what the teacher got. He was like, yeah, she don't know what the fuck she doing, right? He said, look, you do it her way, you're gonna fail. If you do it my way, you'll get an A. And every time he's doing this shit, he's getting a new answer. I'm like, how the fuck is he getting a new answer every time he's doing this math and this shit not? So I'm like, oh, I'm fucked, man. So I could tell my dad was starting to get mad. You know what I'm saying? So he went back to the room to watch the game. And I'm hoping, you know, that he just go to sleep. And I'm hoping that I just get up in the morning and then we get up late or something and then we can just go rush to school and I'll go to the teacher and ask her how to do it, right? Nigga, I'm doing the shit and he's watching the game and I'm thinking he about to go to sleep. He's like, Andre, how we doing in there? I'm like, oh shit. So I get up and, you know, I go back and I ask him a few questions about the homework, about the math. And then he starts smacking his teeth. He said, you fucking around, huh? He said, you fucking around, huh? I'm like, no, Dad, I'm trying to get it. He's like, no. He said, no, you fucking around. He said, keep fucking around, see what happens. I'm like, Dad, I'm trying to understand this shit. What the fuck? I wasn't cussing, but I was like, man, I'm trying to get this shit, right? So so he comes in, and when here's how I know he would get mad, right? When he was getting mad, he'd be writing hard as shit. Like the fucking pencil lead, as he would write, you would see shards of lead come off the pencil. He was getting mad. You would see like shards of lead come off the pencil, and you would see like fucking powder and shit, little pellets all over the fucking paper and shit. And then he'd write real hard, and like it would be extra hard. Even one time I think the lead broke and he still kept trying to write, and he's like scratching the paper up. Like, nigga. I'm like, fuck, I'm in trouble, man. That he did all this shit and got a new answer, right? So he said, teacher don't know what the fuck she talking about. Do it like her, you fail. You do it like I do it, you'll get an A. Right? So I was like, shit. And he did the same problem and got 5 different answers, nigga. I'm like, what the fuck, man? So he's writing hard or whatever. And then he came and showed me, and then he was like, go to bed. And I was like, all right, cool. Let me go to bed. Let me get up in the morning. Maybe I'll figure this shit out and I'll get it, you know? And the part that sucks is I could have did it, got the teacher's answer, but because the teacher don't know what she's doing and I don't do it my dad's way, I'm in trouble either way. So I'm like, fuck, man. I'm just trying to like, let me just make it to school, and I'll pay attention extra hard this time, and I'll just get it and whatever, right? Man, my dad was like, we get up in the morning, and he's like, how we coming with the homework? I'm like, I'm doing good. I'm like, yeah, I'm figuring it out. He came in the room, nigga, and showed me one last time and got a whole different answer again, right? And then he came back in the room, and like over this desk that I have, right? So in my room, we had this lamp, right? It was this old school, like Beauty and the Beast lamp. Like, matter of fact, we still got the lamp. It's like a copper lamp, and it's like one of them old school joints that go up and it has like the arms on the shit. And we have there's like no cover on the lamp, you know? So when you cut the light on, it's like extra bright in the room, you know what I'm saying? So the light's on, and y'all remember Muppet Babies? Where like Nanny, remember Nanny? Like you never saw Nanny's face. Like all you saw were her shoes, the socks. I mean, all you saw were the shoes, the stockings, the purple dress, or the bottom of the purple dress, and that was it, right? Like you didn't see anything else like from Nanny but that, right? So it was the same thing with my pop and the math homework in the desk, right? Like the light was so bright in my room that it made like this Milky Way like galaxy shit, right? Where it was like just this haze of light, you know what I'm saying? And all you could see was up to like the bottom part of like my dad's chest, right? So you would see like his tie, his shirt, pants, shoes, and everything, but it'd be this bright ass like light, you know what I'm saying? And you couldn't see above like the top of his like belly and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like same with like in Muppet Babies and shit, you know? And I remember like my dad like showing me this shit one last time, you know? And he came in the room, and then he's looking at my work, like he looked at the work I did, and all I heard was, yeah. He started smacking his teeth, and he got quiet, and all I heard was stupid, stupid, stupid. I saw hands leaving the light, nigga. Like that aura light, all I saw was hands leaving the light, nigga. I'm ducking hands. Like I'm getting bombed on by these hands, nigga. Stupid, 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 stupid. So that's all I fucking hearing over this desk. And I got my hands. I'm like covering up, man. I'm trying not to catch these fucking hands, nigga. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I'm looking at hands just flying, nigga. Like hands coming out the light, leaving the light, nigga. I can't even shit, nigga. Like where? I'm like shit, smacking the shit out of me, man. And one time too, like what's funny, man, is like my dad's head, it would like eclipse the light bulb, right? So for a brief second, you could see his face, and his face would be like, Nigga, that shit was you peep up, man, nigga. Oh man. Stupid. That's all I kept hearing, man. I was like, God damn, nigga. So after that, man, I was not fucking around in school, yo. When I was in them teachers' classes, nigga, I was making sure I followed every step that they had, nigga. I'm like, teacher, show your work. Teacher, please show your work, nigga. Cause nigga, I don't want to. I can't do math my dad's way. Cause every time you do it, you're gonna get a new answer, and it's gonna lead to getting slapped up, nigga. I ain't fuck that, nigga. So nigga, I was paying attention like a motherfucker in school, man. Matter of fact, man, math became my favorite subject. You know what I'm saying? Math, I like math. I got math because then you can't argue with the shit. Like you can't argue with math. You can't argue with facts, you know? And then yeah, so like matter of fact, like I was doing like in high school, I ended up doing like honors math. I was in honors math class where I got straight A's in math after that. Like I was doing trigonometry, all that shit, you know? SATs, I think I got a 600 or a 650 on my SATs. Like, I think I may have got higher than that. I crushed SATs and I crushed math on the SATs, you know. Then in college, man, as y'all know, I'm an engineer, man. I did Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3, differential equations, nigga. I was figuring that shit out. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, yeah, them hands, nigga, you know, like y'all can say what you want, but it made me take education way more serious, you know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't fucking around after that. Like every time I came home from school, my dad like knew what I had coming up. Like he knew if I had a test coming up or whatever, he'd be like, yeah, how'd you do on your test? I'm like, nigga, I got an A. And that's all. I'm like, there's no work. You don't need to see shit. I didn't say it, but I was like, he's like, you got an A, let me see. I'm like, see from here, look from here. See the A, boom, done. Don't look at my work, nigga. We not having that discussion about no work, nigga. So it's like, and after that, it was just getting A's. Good job. Yeah, good job, son. Good job. I'm like, cool, bet. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that shit went. So that was that slap up. Then the final slap up, this shit is weird. Like, so this is one I did not deserve this slap up, but you know, it's still funny to me to this day. Still funny to me to this day. I think I got this slap up in the 5th grade. This was my last slap up. I was in 5th grade, and my mom and dad still in their room, but they're still in the same room. And I got up in the morning and I made some cream of wheat because it was cold outside. And my mom was getting ready to go to work. And then she left, and I was like, "Hey, mom, I made breakfast. You want some cream of wheat?" She was like, "No, dear, thanks you, but nah, I'm good. I don't need anything to eat for breakfast." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So like I wasn't mad or disappointed. I was just like, oh, "Okay, she don't want it. Cool, whatever, right?" And my dad is still in bed, and like he's like rolled over asleep in the covers. And I was like, "Hey, Dad, I made some breakfast, man." I was like, "Pop, I made some breakfast. You know, if you want to get some cream of wheat, man, I got it on the stove." And he just was like, he was like, "Man, leave me alone." I was like, "All right, shit, okay." So he sleep, whatever, no big deal. I wasn't tripping off it. So I'm in the I'm in the kitchen, and um I have a gallon of milk on the edge of the table, right? It's a gallon of milk on the edge of the table, and I was just being careless or whatever, right? So I was eating my breakfast or whatever, and I can't remember what happened, but basically I turned the wrong way, and I knocked the gallon of milk on the floor, and it went boom, right? It made this loud noise, pow, right? Milk all over the floor. So I'm thinking to myself, honest mistake, right? You know, I'm just gonna clean it up, and I'm gonna go about my day, right? So I got paper towels, and I'm throwing them across the floor, whatever. I'm trying to get this milk up, and you know, all I hear is this boom, right? And my dad just get out of bed. Then I hear the footsteps, and I hear the footsteps coming, and I'm wiping all this milk up off the floor, and I'm getting it all cleaned up, and I'm on the floor like wiping and cleaning and shit. And nigga, my dad came in that doorway or the hallway, and he looked into the kitchen and just stared at me, nigga. Like this was scary, nigga. He just started staring at me. And I was like, hey, Pop, I was like, yo, my bad, man. Like I accidentally knocked the milk over. I'm getting it up. I'm sorry. I was like, yo, I was like, my bad, I'm getting it up. And I'm wiping and cleaning. And he ain't say nothing. He's just still as a statue, just standing there. And I'm like, damn, I'm getting it up, man. It's all good. I'm getting it up, and I'm wiping all the milk up and shit, getting it up. And nigga, I look up a third time, nigga. This nigga just transformed, man. He went from 0 to 100 in like half a second, man. He just was like, you damn jackass. Pow, 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 pow. I'm catching hands and I'm in this milk. I'm on the floor rolling. I'm catching these fucking hands, nigga. Y'all remember the basketball drill, like back in the day? It's called the spider dribble, where like Google it, right? But if you look up it's like a drill where you're doing the drill and you got to do like behind, and it's like this. It's called the spider dribble, right? So my dad basically was like he was like basically like he was spider dribbling me between his legs and shit, smacking me up and just fucking tagging me, man, just tagging the shit out of me, man. You know, and all I remember him saying was, he's like, man, my hand hurt, let me get the belt. And I was like, oh shit. So he went to the room, got his belt, and I could have ran outside, you know, until calmer heads prevailed. I could have ran in the basement, I could have hid. But I'm like, yeah, that's probably not gonna work out, man. So I remember I'm upstairs in the living room and I'm running in circles in the fucking living room thinking, why you get the belt? He came back out with the belt. And my dad I don't know how he did it, man, but he picked me up by like my ankles, man, or by like one ankle. He picked me up by like one ankle and was like whooping the shit out of me, man. I was like, God damn. Over some spilled milk. Nigga, so I literally cried over spilled milk. Nigga. But yeah, that was the last time I got disciplined, right? Was then. Um, but then after that, man, I had a couple close calls too, man. I had some really, really close calls, man. Really close. I remember so back when I was in Montessori school, um, there was this one chick in my class. Her name was Ashley. And I always get them mixed up because there was Ashley and Jamie. And Jamie's out here Jamie's out here in LA. And I've seen Jamie a few times. Now I've seen Jamie like once or twice out here. Shout out to Jamie, man. Jamie, man, I've known her since like I was in the second grade, man. But Jamie was cool, but Jamie was like a year under me at this school. She was in second grade, I was in third grade. But Ashley was but Ashley was in my grade, right? She was in my class. And Ashley, I remember one day we had like it was a spelling test, right? And I remember Ashley just crying, man. Like she was boo-hooing and like sobbing. She was like, I can't spell, and just crying, right? And she was like, we sat on the floor, right? We sat on the floor like in a circle and shit. And I remember her crying and shit. And I felt bad for her, right? I just felt bad for her crying and shit. So I remember I was like, look, I said, you do the best you can do on your test. I'm gonna do a little worse than I normally do. And then we can swap tests at the end. And I said, you put your name on my shit and I'll put my name on your shit. You know what I'm saying? And then she was like, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, she'll do it. And next time she'll study or whatever. Cause because you don't want to see like a person crying like that. You know what I'm saying? So I took the bait. And then we did all that, turned our test in or whatever. All is good, right? Nope. So Ashley, all of a sudden, she came to her senses and she felt guilty about the shit, but she didn't come and consult with me first, you know? So Ashley went to the teacher and confessed that, hey, look, I cheated on the test, me and Andre traded papers or whatever. So then when the teacher came to me, I'm looking like the bad guy. And I'm like, bitch, you couldn't spell. I'm trying to help you out. What the fuck you telling me on me for? So I didn't say all that, but I'm thinking this shit internally. And I'm confused. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to help you out. Why are you gonna throw me on the bus like that? So I got a note. I took the note home, and the only thing that saved me that day was the weather, because it was raining hard that day. And my folks had these Peugeot cars, like these are French Peugeot cars, and the Peugeot that they had was like really like fucking up, so they had to take it to the shop. So it was a combination of it being a rainy day and the car messing up. And my mom got the letter, and she was like, wait till I show your father. And I was like, oh fuck, man, I'm gonna get my ass whooped. Man, I'm about to get slapped up, right? And I remember like she showed my dad, and my dad, I remember we had to meet somewhere else to get the car fixed or whatever it was. And then she told my dad, and then my pop was like, like he had the whole, like, when he starts asking you questions, nigga, that shit not gonna end good. So you mean to tell me like you did? I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, shit. And when he smack his teeth and he does that, so you mean to tell me? No, 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 no. I think when he started doing that shit, I'm like, man, this ain't gonna end good. So I remember they knew I had a look on my face where they knew I was in trouble. And I went home, and that's the one time that I dodged the ass whooping, y'all. Like, they were like, yeah, nah, he looked like he got the fear of God in him right now. So yeah, we're not gonna punish him, but he knows better next time. So that was a close call. Another close call was when yeah, I remember, like, I was young. My mom made some bullshit for dinner. Look, my mom can cook. Right? My mom was a good chef, make good food. But this one meal she made back, I was young. She made some bullshit, man. It was bad, man. Like, she made liver and okra, nigga. Like we never had that shit in the house. I'm like, what the fuck is this liver and okra shit, man? Right? Liver and okra, man. When I saw that shit, like the smell didn't even smell right. You know what I'm saying? The smell didn't even smell right. So I'm at the table and shit, and I'm like sitting there and I'm looking at this shit. I'm fucking smelling it. I'm like, man, I'm like, I'm sitting there like, man, I'm like, look, I'd rather go to bed hungry. Like, I ain't eating this shit. Man, man, my mom was like, boy, my mom and dad, so my mom was on this side, my dad was on this side, and my mom was like, man, eat your food. And my dad was like, G, keep fucking around. Keep fucking eat your food. I'm like, man, this shit, how the fuck y'all eating this shit? Man, I took a bite of that liver. Nigga, that shit was musty. Like, that shit tastes like underarm, nigga. That shit tastes like musty underarm. Assuming that's what musty underarm tastes like. But that shit was musty. And I remember chewing that shit and just the stench of the must going down the back of my throat. I started gagging. And my mom sitting there, and she watching me, and my dad watching me. And my dad's like, keep fucking around. My dad's like, keep fucking around. And I'm gagging and shit, like, I can't eat this shit. And I'm doing that shit. My mom put her hand up. And I put my hand up too, nigga. Nigga, my dad, I forgot what was said, but my dad's like, put your fucking hand down or some shit. And then I swallowed that shit, nigga. And I was like, man, like, I don't remember. I remember blacking out and eating that shit. Like, I remember eating that shit, yo. And it was just, I don't know how I ate it. I don't know how I got that shit down, man. But that shit was nasty. That was the worst. You know what I'm saying? But the tension, I remember the tension in the kitchen being high. I remember the tensions being high in the kitchen. I just remember, yo, if I don't eat this shit, this might be the first tag team co-headlining main event, right? Like, this might be the first foundational Black American and Caribbean slap up I get ever, right? At the same time, right? I remember thinking, man, it's gonna be ugly. So, yeah, I don't remember how I ate that shit, but somehow I ate that shit or whatever. And that was like the worst meal my mom made, yo. Like that shit was that shit was horrible. But then what else was a close call? The close so it was a close call. I think I almost got smacked up. I almost got slapped up when I was in 7th or 8th grade. Yeah, it was when it was when the Ravens. So it was at a so we were at so my dad, my mom, me and mom and dad went to a football game. We went to see the Ravens and the Jaguars. Right when this goes, it was the Jaguars at the Ravens, and this was at Memorial Stadium, right back in Baltimore. Right, this is before M&T Bank Stadium. You know what I mean? Man, we're at the game or whatever, you know, and I remember we were in concessions or something. I remember we were in the concession line or something, and I can't remember what it was about, but I feel like my mom asked me something or said something, and I didn't like how she asked it or whatever, and then I didn't like the tone. It was something, and I remember thinking. So I don't remember exactly what was said or what happened, but all I remember was I said something to be smart, and I said it in like a tone or like an attitude, right? And then I remember like the shit kind of going away and we watching the game, and I'm like, why I said that? Like you know how it is like when you say some shit and you can't believe you said it, and then you see then you basically like, man, I can't believe I said that shit. I got away with that shit. So I remember having that feeling. Then I'm watching the rest of the game, everything was cool. And then, my folks act like ain't nothing was going on. They act like ain't nothing was wrong or nothing. Like everything was normal, right? So we get home and I'm downstairs on the couch and I'm watching like Sports Center highlights or whatever. And my dad came downstairs and he was pacing. Right? I'm like, why my dad's pacing around the house like this? Like he's pacing back and forth, just pacing around the house. And like he was just not going any, like he would act like he's going to the washroom, then come back, then come downstairs, go halfway up the stairs, then come down the stairs and act like he's going into the back room, and he just kept doing all this pacing. And I'm watching the game, and I was like, yeah, is everything okay, Pop? He's like, he's like, at the game, yeah, at the game when we were in line. He's like, yeah, at the game when we were in line and your mom asked you to do such and such, do you have an attitude? I was like, no, 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 no. He goes, yeah, I think you had an attitude. I'm like, no, 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 no. I was like, no, 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 I never. He's like, yeah, yeah, I think you had an attitude, right? I was like, no, 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 no. I just said this, and I was like, I didn't mean it like that, but I mean, I didn't say. I was explaining my ass off downstairs. My dad was pacing. He said, oh, okay, okay, okay. He said, no, 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 no. When you said this, he kept coming back. I was like, oh fuck. I'm like, man, I'm about to catch some hands tonight, man. God damn, I don't want to catch no hands, man. And if I would have said the wrong thing, nigga, I would have caught hands that night, man. But he just kept pacing back and forth, man. And I was like, nigga, I was on full alert, man. You know? And then finally, like, I guess he worked himself down and then he went back upstairs and that was that, nigga. So that was a close call, man. Like, like, are you sure? Like, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh man, that shit was funny, man. Then what's like there's one more almost where I almost um got smacked up. There was one more, man. I can't think I'm trying to remember the shit. Oh yeah, nah. It was a close call, man. So when I was young, um, nigga, I did a whole lot of chores in my house, man. No, I got two more almost. Two more almost. uh so yeah. So when I was young, I started doing like my mom. I kind of got tricked into doing chores, right? So, um, like when I was and I still got the photo. I got to find the photo, but when my mom was vacuuming like the living room and stuff, like I thought the vacuum was a toy. I thought that shit was like something like it looked fun, and I kept begging my mom to vacuum the floors, and she told me, she said, "Look, once you start, nigga, You don't stop. Like, this is gonna be your thing. Every week you got to vacuum. I'm like, yeah, right. So that was like the first chore I got was vacuuming, right? So when I was in high school, man, this was these. I'm not even kidding, man. These were my list of chores, man. My indoor chores, I had to sweep the stairs, vacuum the stairs. Then I had to sweep the hallway, um, sweep the hallway during the week, and I had to mop the hallway once a week. But I had to clean. But I had to clean the. No, it was like no. I had to sweep and mop the hallway. Fuck that. And I had to sweep and mop the hallway every week, and then I had to clean my room. Then I had to clean the kitchen, do the dishes, and then those were my indoor chores, right? Which is a lot, you know. Oh, and then I had to clean the bathroom. Then I had to then my outdoor chores where I had to weed whack, then I had to cut the lawn, and then every like once in a while, maybe like once every other month in the spring, in the fall and summer, I had to go on the roof and I had to get the helicopters out of the gutters, So I had to do all them fucking chores, man. And I remember, I don't know what happened, man, but my mom, man, I remember like I wasn't like the best at cleaning. I'm gonna tell you that right now. My mom could get the shit real clean. I couldn't clean worth shit. Like I just didn't know how. Like a problem I had was I would get the suds and the soap and shit. Like when I was cleaning the bathroom, it just took me forever to get the suds and the soap up. And my mom somehow did it with just she somehow knew how to wring out the sponge and get all the fucking soap suds and shit up. But I remember I cleaned I half-ass cleaned the bathroom so I could watch my cartoons. And I remember my mom just got mad. I don't know what it was, man. But she came in the bathroom and she was moving shit. Cause I like to clean around shit. Like I was never like I didn't really like to move shit when I clean, right? So for example, there's like a bottle of like Vaseline or whatever on the counter or a jar of Vaseline. I would wipe around the Vaseline, right? And I would clean around the shit. And then my mom would come in and just move the Vaseline jar to the side, and you see like a dust ring of where the Vaseline was sitting, and she'd go like this. What is this, nigga? Nah, you not done. What is this? You not done? Right? So I remember I half-ass did my chores. I was trying to go outside to play, and the metal part of like the bathtub and the shower or whatever had like spots on it. And my mom she went, man. She was on one, man. She was like, I want this shit shining. I want this shit shining. I want this shit. I mean, she was like screaming, nigga. And I was like, fuck, man. So I ended up just doing chores all day. She asked me I was done. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not done yet. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna be done today because I don't want to say I'm done and then miss something and then now I gotta get a spanking. You know what I'm saying? So that was a close call because she was like on 10. And then my last final one was I came in one day from I think I was in high school. And yeah, I was in high school, I think. And I came in, I was tired. I was outside playing basketball or something. And the dishes and the sink was full of dishes, man. And I was like, man, I do not feel like I'm not doing these dishes tonight. So I didn't say it, but I thought it. So I said, Mom, Mom, I'm tired. I'm gonna go ahead and go to bed. I'm gonna see you in the morning. She said, okay. And then she said it in a way where I was like, what's wrong? She said, nothing wrong. She said, no, ain't nothing wrong. She said, go to bed. I was like, okay. Then my dad came home late that night. I think he came home at like 1 a.m. I think it was, or like 12 or 1. He came home late from making rounds or whatever. And all I heard was, because like all I heard was like the lower bass of my dad's voice. The and I think he came in and saw the dishes in the sink and was like, "Yo, like why the fuck are dishes in the sink? Why the dishes in the sink?" That's all I heard. It was like a muffled sound. And my mom was like, "You gotta talk to your son or whatever, right?" Nigga, that door slammed wide. My bedroom door slammed wide the fuck open, and I just heard my dad say, "Andre, get the fuck up. Get your ass in the kitchen. Get the dishes out the motherfucking sink." All right, I was like, "Oh fuck, if I don't get this shit up, I'm gonna get smacked around. Nigga, I hopped up, man. I was doing dishes at fucking 2 a.m., man, getting that kitchen clean, man. So, and the way he was like yelling, nigga, I was like, man, this shit don't sound good, man. I'm about to probably get smacked up, man. But I didn't, right? But if I would have said the wrong thing or if I didn't move fast enough, nigga, that energy was, yeah, you about to get slapped up. You know what I'm saying? So those are all my slap up stories, man. Um, put in the comments, man, how many times you got slapped up or got a spanking or both, right? Put it in the comments, man. I'm interested, man. I think I told you about what 9 or 10 times I got smacked up, I got slapped up, or got an ass whooping. Put it in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Um, do you still believe in disciplining your kids? Put that shit in the comment section, right? Because I know a lot of people that are just so anti. Like I'm like my dad had a saying, right? My dad's saying was, "You must learn to bend the tree when it is young, because when it grows too old and too crooked, you gotta chop it down." You know, so my mom and dad, they were like making sure I was like walking the path of the straight and narrow. You know, no deviations, right? So put it in the comments, man. Like, how many times have you gotten disciplined in your youth? You know, and do you believe that physical discipline is necessary to this day? You know, like I know a lot of people, like, you know, that do the whole, hey, I'm gonna talk to my kid, and I believe I can discipline my kid or show them the way without using hands, you know. And I think some cases that's true, you know. But I see some parents, man, where they be talking to their kids like they be treating their kids like roommates, and they don't pay no rent, no nothing, but they mouthing off at their folks, and it's like, you know, um, like I see some people that need the belt to bottom, you know. So like it's not for everybody, right? Like I'm not saying everyone needs to be spanked just for the sake of being spanked. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, when you look at just how passive aggressive and how condescending we are in society, man, nigga, that shit would have not held up in my household, man. Like where we're at right now with all the comparison and the condescension and condescending and talking down to and passive aggressiveness, man, that shit would have got smacked, man. Yeah, that shit got smacked out of me. You know what I'm saying? Um, at least most of it. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah. But like I said, man, I got slapped up over math homework, man, and I became uh halfway decent at math or above average in math. You know, um, was that the right thing? I know what a lot of y'all are gonna say, but I mean, you know, when I look back at them slap ups, man, like I wish I had like, you know, I wish I got slapped up over basketball, man, because nigga, who knows? If I got slapped up over basketball, maybe I get a scholarship, you know, to go hoop, you know, or anytime I show lack of confidence, I guess like if I got slapped up over that, maybe I'll be like way more confident. I'm not saying I'm not confident now, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I look at where I'm at now and I don't mind them at all. You know what I'm saying? Or I didn't mind that at all. Like it's a funny story to talk about. You know what I'm saying? In the moment, that shit wasn't fun. But um, you know, no one got hurt. I mean, I had like small temporary pain, but I mean, it wasn't like I had no bruises, and just like none of that shit. Oh, I left off one more almost. This is probably a good way for me to close on this one last almost. So, anyways, like my dad, he used to do this thing where he'd be joking, right? And we'd be at the table and he go like this. He do this shit. Psych. Psych. And when he did that shit, nigga, I would jump, nigga. Fuck. And then he started laughing. I'm like, oh, this motherfucker, man. I'm like, So he do this shit. Psych. Psych. Right? And that shit, and he would get me good. Like he would it would be like once, like he wouldn't do it too much, but he would do it where like I didn't expect it, man. And I'll be kind of like not focused. he do that shit. I'd be like, man, what the fuck? But now my last almost, right? So as y'all know, I'm a Bills fan. Grew up a Bills fan. You know, mom and dad grew up in Buffalo in the '60s or whatever. Um, but yeah, man, as y'all know, I'm probably the biggest Bills fan, right? As you see right now, I'm wearing a Washington Nationals slash it's a Washington Nationals um throwback hat or Senators hat. You know, I go for the Nationals in baseball. You know, Buffalo has the Buffalo Bisons. You know, minor league team. I got Buffalo Bisons hats, but that's not what I'm trying to get at. Right, my whole point is I'm a Bills fan, and this kind of will show you how much of a Bills fan I am. Right, so after all the smack ups and whoopings I got, right, I almost got not almost, but thanks to the Bills, I didn't get a slap up. Right, so this was the comeback game, right? The Oilers at the Bills comeback game, right? Y'all know the comeback game where all the Bills were hurt, right? We had Frank Reich leading the way at quarterback, and then you had Don Beebe was like the only healthy receiver. Defense was all hurt. You know, I think Thurman was out, and the first half of the game was a blowout. So, man, me and my dad are downstairs watching the game, and we're both like frustrated that the Bills are about to take this L, you know? And halftime comes, and my dad's like, he said, Jay, the fucking game is over. Go do your homework, go to bed, right? He said, go do your homework. No, it wasn't time to go to bed. He just said, go do your homework. He's like, G, I could never smack my teeth like the West Indians do it, right? But my dad would go, he said, Jay, the fucking game is over. Go do your homework. And I was like, no, Pop, game not over, man. We gonna win this shit. You know, we gonna come back. And the score was like ridiculous. You know, I think what was the halftime score? I forgot the halftime, but it was bad. Go back and watch the game or look at the highlights, right? You'll see like how bad we were getting beat by the Oilers. And my dad said, Jay, cut the fucking game off and go do your homework. And I was like, no, Dad, we gonna come back and win this game. Right? And he said, and he got mad at me for talking back. He's like, okay. He said, Jay, look, if the Bills don't come back and win the game, slap up. I'm like, all right, bet. And I'm like, cool. Like this, I'm like, look, I'll take an ass whooping over this shit, man. Cause these are my Bills, man. Ain't no way in the fuck I'm giving up on my Bills, man. So I was willing to get an ass whooping or I was willing to get slapped up over these Bills. And y'all know how that game went. Y'all know how things ended up. Bills came back, won the game. Me and my dad were jumping and shouting all in the basement. No slap up for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how much of a Bills fan I am. After all the slap ups I done told y'all about, after all the ass whoopings I told y'all about, I was willing to take an ass whooping and a slap up to watch these fucking Bills, yo, even if they lost or we're going to lose against the Oilers, man. So with that being said, AT is where it's at on most forms of social media. Make sure you follow me. And yeah, man. I gotta get better at closing this one out. Here we go. Boom. So yeah, man. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. Like I said, AT is where it's at on most forms of social media. If you've been disciplined in your household, put it in the comment section. You know, do you agree with physical discipline? Yes or no? Should it come back in schools? Put it in the comments, man. How many times did you get slap up or get your ass beat? Put it in the comments, man. AT is where it's at on most forms of social media. And without further ado, I'm out of here, folks. Peace.